Hello, welcome to another episode of Stories of World War II Veterans. My name is Kayleen Reusser. Each week I'm reading a story to you from a book I have written of stories of World War II veterans who I had the opportunity of interviewing. I did interview 260 men and women who served in World War II. So today's story is from book 2 in my World War II Legacies series. It's called They Did It for Honor, Stories of American World War II Veterans. And the story today is about Navy veteran Charlie Conrad. Here's his picture here. All right, so here we go. Every minute of every day, I knew someone was trying to kill me, said Charlie Conrad of Fort Wayne, Indiana, and we were doing the same. During World War II, Conrad of Fort Wayne was assigned to the USS Farquhar DE-139, part of the American Navy's Fifth Fleet, established in 1944. We were a destroyer escort, a ship smaller than a destroyer, he said. Our job was to chase and sink German subs across the Atlantic. In early May 1945, the war was nearing an end, but not before the crew of the Farquhar scored one of the most significant offenses in the Navy. The Farquhar was part of an American convoy consisting of a carrier, the USS Mission Bay CVE-59, and two other destroyers, USS Douglas L DE-138 and the USS Hill DE-141. The trio of destroyers had been at Argentia, Newfoundland, for refueling and supplies in late April 1945. Just after leaving the area, the USS Frederick C. Davis DE-136 was torpedoed and sunk by the German sub U-881, commanded by Dr. Heinz Frisch. The German sub was one of a deadly force of underwater vessels operating around the southern part of the Grand Bank of Canada. They had sunk approximately 2,779 Allied vessels during the past 4 years. Despite a large number of German subs returning to the safety of the waters around Europe, the U-881 remained in the open area of the North Atlantic, hoping to torpedo yet another American ship in the icy waters. On May 2nd, the Farquhar and other ships in the convoy left Newfoundland to scout the waters along America's east coast. When the U-881 honed in on the group, Frisch decided to attack the Mission Bay. He closed the German sub in at 1,200 meters to use her torpedoes. When Lieutenant Lloyd R. Borst of the Farquhar retaliated by ordering that depth charges be detonated, the Allied crew dropped 13. The sonar buoy, released at 0527 hours, registered several violent explosions. Uncertain as to the exact cause, the entire division searched the area for the next 12 hours for signs of the sub and its possible sinking. When no evidence of the U-boat was found, it was presumed sunk without leaving a trace. The search was called off. Such exciting actions at sea were the reason that Conrad, born and raised in Urbana, Indiana, south of North Manchester, lied about his age in 1943 to enlist at age 16. After basic training, he was assigned to the Farquhar, which at the time patrolled the Marshall Islands and the waters of Saipan and Tarawa of the South Pacific. With no high school diploma, Conrad was assigned as a fireman and later a cook. Though not paid much, he loved his job in the galley. "I got to eat a lot," he said. Like every other crew member, Conrad was trained for duties in a certain area of the ship during battle or general quarters. "I manned 20mm and 40mm fantail guns outside the galley door, he said. The destruction of U-881 was just 2 days before Germany surrendered on May 8, 1945. That meant the Frederick C. Davis was the last American ship sunk by the Germans during World War II, and the U-881 was the last German sub sunk by an American vessel in the Atlantic. The Farquhar was awarded the Bronze Star for its destruction of the German submarine. For Conrad and others aboard the Farquhar, the war continued to be fought in the Pacific with Japan. The crew and hundreds of others were headed toward the Philippines for an anticipated invasion of Japan when word arrived that Japan had surrendered. Conrad remained aboard the Farquhar until it was decommissioned in 1946. Loving the naval life, he reenlisted and was sent to Korea, where he met an American yeoman from Tennessee named Mary. On our first date, I asked her to marry me, he said. She thought I was drunk and she sent me home. The next day I tried again and she said yes. The couple was married 40 years and became parents to 3 children. Conrad was discharged in 1960 after 17 years of military service. The military was good for me, he said. I believe we should require military service of our high school graduates, he said. It would teach discipline. And there's a picture of Charlie Conrad, and I couldn't have been more proud to write that story about him. Again, that is in my book. They Did It for Honor, Stories of American World War II Veterans. It is book 2. There were 4 books in my World War II Legacies series. I thank you for joining us today for another installment in the Stories of World War II Veterans series. I will be back next week with another exciting story. You can learn more about our veterans at my website, KayleenReusser.com. I'll put more information in the show notes. Thanks for listening, and remember to thank a veteran for his or her service. See you next time.